Hello friends, welcome back to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, in today's class I am going to discuss another problem based on the combined spectral studies. Okay, and this problem you can see here. First of all, we will do the routine things, and the routine thing is what we are having this molecular weight given. Okay, in that case you see the molecular formula, not molecular weight, molecular formula is given. Okay, when molecular formula is given, the first thing which we generally do in that case, we will calculate the index of hydrogen deficiency. Okay, and this is the molecular formula given. We will calculate the HDI, index of hydrogen deficiency, double bond equivalent, right, or degree of unsaturation, whatever you want, then you can call it as. And the formula is just what, 2n plus 2 minus m into h divided by 2, where n is the number of carbon atoms and m number of the hydrogen atoms. Okay, so what you will have in that case, 2 into 4 plus 2 minus total 8 hydrogens are there, you can see here 8 hydrogens, and divided by 2. Then this should be 2 by 2 equals to 1. That means index of hydrogen deficiency is 1. It clearly indicates that molecule can have a double bond or it may have a ring. So you have to look the formula corresponding to the C4H8O2 structure, which corresponding to the C4H8O2 molecular formula, and which can have one ring or the one double bond. So what are the possibilities? So first of all, you see here I have this possibility of having this, right, this belongs to this C4H8O2. Okay, and second you may have your CH3, CH2, another CH2, and then C double bond O, OH. Okay, and then you are having third possibility, you may have, this would be your, say, CH3, C double bond O, O, CH2, CH3. Okay, another possibility you may have CH3, CH2, C double bond O, O, CH3. Okay, this possibility you are having. You are having these 4 possibility, and you have to select the correct answer from these 4. Now, if you quickly recall my previous problem, if I go back, right, this was my previous problem, C4H8O2, right. This was the problem I have already solved for you, and for this you are having this particular structure, CH3, C double bond O, O, CH2, CH3, right. This is structure you are having. Now check, you see here. So in that case you can quickly actually ignore one of the problem for it. See, because you have already solved this particular problem. If you focus on this particular problem, this one, this you have solved already in my previous, right. So this cannot be your answer, because you have solved this problem based on these structure, these spectrals. Okay, these spectra you have solved. So that means this cannot be your answer. So what we can do, we can ignore this possibility. Okay, and then we can ignore other possibilities also. But before ignoring those possibility, I am giving you a certain idea here. You see, in that case, check your IR spectrum. Okay, so where is your IR spectrum? This is your IR spectrum, and if you think your molecule is having this hydroxyl group, like as I have written in that case or in that case, so there should be some band around this, there should be a band in this particular region. but this for OH group, but this is absent, this is not there. That means these two possibilities you can discard. Okay, and one very important conclusion which you can make from here, this frequency 1744, it corresponds to the carbonyl group, okay, which belongs to the ester. How? I already told you, when you have the acid and you are looking for the carbonyl stretching frequency for this acid, then definitely you will have the value from 1730 to 1700 centimeter inverse. Okay. For esters, okay, for esters you are having this carbonyl frequency which correspond to the 1750 to 1735 centimeter inverse, and you are having this value 1744 which is in between this. That means your compound is the ester. Okay. This you have to think. Okay. And then what we can do, right? Now we can look for these for this particular structure, why it is the correct structure, right? What you have given here, you have given actually this is your proton NMR, right? I am solving your proton NMR first. This is your proton NMR and you are solving proton NMR. It is having 3 peaks. So, in that case you can see this is a type A, this is type B, this is type C. So, 3 different sets of the protons are there, that means you will get the 3 signal, okay, and you are getting the 3 signals here. You are getting signal number 1, signal 2 and signal 3. Now, you can check the, see for this, it should be your 3 proton singlet, right, and it should have highest chemical shift, highest delta value. Why? Because it is directly linked with the oxygen atom. So, it is a very downfield signal. Deshielding causes the downfield signal. So, your singlet should be most downfield, that means having the highest chemical shift, and you can see here this is your singlet and this singlet is having chemical shift somewhere around 3.1 ppm. This is the delta value. Okay. Now, if you look for the second one, say for this one, so this you see 3 protons are there in the just neighboring carbon atom. So, if you apply the n+1 rule, that will give you 3 plus 1 equals to 4. So, this should be 2 proton quartet and this should be second downfield. Okay. It should have second highest, I can write here second highest delta value. Why? Because it is directly linked with the electron withdrawing carbonyl, but its electron withdrawing nature is lower than the oxygen actually, right. So, it should be second. So, quartet would have the second highest value. So, you see here this is your quartet which is showing here, you see this is your quartet expansion and it is having the chemical shift of 2.0. So, this signal here it is at 2.0 ppm delta value, and if you look for this particular one, so this should be your 3 proton triplet. Why triplet? In the neighboring you see 2 hydrogens are there. So, if you apply the n+1 rule, this would be 2 plus 1 equals to 3, 2 proton triplet. So, here you can see this is the triplet, okay, and if it is the triplet, that simply means that this triplet should be your most upfield, that means lowest value of the chemical shift, and it is having the lowest value of the chemical shift somewhere around 0.5 ppm. So, your proton NMR is clearly indicating that your structure, the correct structure for this compound is the structure number 4, and this is the way by which you can differentiate between the 2 very closely related molecules. First is your third one and second is the fourth one, but they have the different spectra. Okay. I hope this is clear to you. Now, if you move little further and if you want to inspect some other your spectra, So you can look for, see this IR is I have already explained to you. Now you can go for your carbon NMR. Okay. Now I am doing this for carbon NMR, and you see if this structure is the correct one. So how many carbon NMR carbon peaks would be there in that case? Okay. Say this is carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, this is carbon number 3, and this is carbon number 4. So total 4 peaks should be there in the carbon NMR, and you see this is the peak number 1, this is the peak number 2, this is the peak number 3, and this is the peak number 4. And you see this peak number 4 is somewhere around 175 ppm. If you check this value, it should be 175 ppm. Okay. And you very well know, whenever you are having the peak at 175 ppm, it clearly indicates that carbonyl group is present, and that carbonyl group belongs to the ester. So it should be ester carbonyl. Okay. However, if it was your acidic carbonyl, then this value should be on the lower side. Okay. You should remember this point. So 175 is the characteristic for the ester. I hope this is clear to you. And rest you see this is your CH3, and CH2. And if you really want to know which CH3 is which one according to your peak, so I am telling you this actually this peak number 1 is actually corresponding to this one, which I have already told you, right? This is peak number 2. Okay. And this is the peak number 3, which correspond to actually this methyl group. Okay. This methyl group, that is peak C. So I can write C here. And carbonyl carbon, you know, it is actually the 3 one, this one. Okay. And now if you lastly look for some of the important fragmentation patterns, then again you can see here you are having the molecular ion. See this in that case, you see you are having the prominent molecular ion peak at 88. So your formula is C4H8O2, which is corresponding to CH3, CH2, C double bond O, OCH3. Okay. If you remove an electron from here, it is the molecular ion. So this is the M by Z value, which is your 88. And if it is if it undergoes your alpha cleavage, so then what it will give you? Say for example, you are breaking the bond from here. Okay, you are breaking this particular bond. So this will come here, and this one electron will go there. So you left with what? CH3 CH2 as radical. Okay, and then you are having C triple bond O positive, then O CH3. You are having this particular species. Okay, and if you calculate the molecular weight of this one, then it will give you 59. So you are getting the peak at M by Z value of the 59. Okay, and you see this 59 peak is somewhere here. This is 57, 58, 59, which is not very clearly visible here, but you can check. Okay, let me check the weight of this particular fragment. Okay, see 2 carbons, that is 12 plus 3, 16 is the oxygen, plus 12, and then again 16. Okay, then 16 to the 32, 32 plus 34, then 34, 10, 44, 44, 10, 54, 55, 56, 59. Okay, it is 59. Now you can look for the another peak. For this actually I need some space. So what I can do, I can shift this spectra a little bit here. Okay. So next peak you can explain in that manner. You are CH3, then you are having CH2, and you are having C double bond O and OCH3. This was your molecular ion. Okay, this was your molecular ion. Let me little bit correct it. It is not looking very good. So you can write CH3 here. Now you can fragment this ion in another way, and what fragmentation pattern you will use for this, right? So for this actually you can cleave this particular bond. Say you are cleaving this particular bond, so one electron will go with this one, not this one, very sorry. Cleave this, because it is the alpha cleavage, cleave this bond and cleave this bond, okay. Then you will have OCH3 dot here, and then your remaining fragment you are having, which is CH3, which is CH2 and C triple bond O positive. This is the cation, and it will have the M by Z value that would be equal to your 57, peak at 57, okay. And if you check, you are having, let me, okay, that means you are having peak at 57. So 88 and 57 is the base peak. And why it is the base peak? Because you see here, this particular fragment is more stable than this particular fragment, okay, right? And that's why this is the possibility of reaching this particular ion to the detector would be more, and it should be more stable, right? And if you want to explain the peak at this 29, okay, this peak at 29, so how you can do that? So let me rewrite this. I am erasing this one, okay. So you are having your CH3, your CH2, sorry, your C double bond O and your O CH3, okay. And if this undergoes the fragmentation, then definitely fragmentation is going in that manner, okay. And you are having this CH3, CH2 positive, and which would be your actually M by Z 29, okay. But this is not a diagnostic peak, but again it is a very important one. So this is how you can explain this particular problem. I hope you understand this problem, okay. Okay, thank you very much.